Good afternoon, my name's Tiffany. This video will discuss a proposal for a local community funded social enterprise that will be sustainable. The name of the project idea is Seascape. The premise of our idea is to create an online book subscription service that is marketed towards the children of naval personnel and to the naval parents serving. The idea is that Seascape will form an accessible channel for a wide variety of books for the naval person and their family, acting as a virtual library. The initial sign-up process will involve the serving parent to receive an ebook reading facility, such as an Amazon Kindle for example, along with the virtual setup for the child that will be receiving a physical copy of the book, which will be sent to them in the post, attached with a free returns postage kit for them to send back once they're finished with it. There will be varying pricing tiers to be able to target different age ranges for the books. The idea was inspired by local schemes for younger education in and around the Gosport and Southampton areas. Some examples of schools involving this scheme are Beddenham Primary School, Alva Valley School and Elson Junior School, to name a few. It is agreed that from the profits made, 50% will be donated to charities that support military employees and their families. The other 50% shall be reinvested into the business for development and expansion. Seascape is a developed idea formed from social and entrepreneurship that the PBS Foundation defines as an idea to solve social, cultural and environmental needs. Kickle and Lyons say that social entrepreneurship is the application of the mindset processes, tools and techniques of business entrepreneurship to the pursuit of a social and or environmental mission. Seascape is a developed idea formed from social entrepreneurship that the PBS Foundation defines as an idea to solve social, cultural or environmental needs. Kickle and Lyons in 2012 say that social entrepreneurship is the application of the mindset processes, tools and techniques of a business entrepreneurship to the pursuit of a social and or environmental mission. What is being solved in this case is the social need of the serving naval personnel's children at home. To be classed as a social enterprise, the core foundations of the idea must have a social orientation in order to be able to differentiate from a normal business with a strong corporate social responsibility values. As Seascape possesses qualities that categorises them to be a part of the third sector, free market, the state areas of the economy, which is demonstrated using 3 players of governance model as demonstrated. Seascape relies solely on the donated input and it is not financially managed or receives any funding from the state. It is an independent social enterprise focusing on the civil society placed in the private sector. Similarly to this, using Peirce's 3 systems of economy also places Seascape in the third system, or alternatively referred to as the third economy, which is the overlap of social and market. Therefore, putting Seascape into the civil society section. Social enterprises and their role to civic society are growing fast. Reports say that almost half of social enterprises grew in the last year, compared with only 34% of traditional businesses. Her Majesty Treasury says this is driven by the developments such as the continued likely expansion of environmental and other ethical markets, the desire of commissioners to procure public services that meet wider social needs and new forms of social investment. Being aware of existing forms of social platforms, the intention is to build on these platforms and construct an enterprise contributing to social innovation. Seascape will be implementing social entrepreneurship to adapt and overcome obstacles in relation to the development within primary education. Seascape will help create a community and build on the network for the children and their parents through sharing their reviews on books and, for example, recommending books to each other. Development ideas to contribute to the community network is for Seascape to facilitate educational functions and create activities to go alongside the books and readings, in hope to bring more unique selling points to the business to support with the success. Whilst operating as a social enterprise, which is separate to a charity, the plan is to have a sustainable cash flow provided by the subscriptions to enable the customer to have access to the platform that provides ebooks and tangible copies of the books to encourage the family bond and relationship, with the additional bonus of helping literacy rates of the child. Not only do we also aim for the improvements of the child's literacy rate, but also their social attitudes to improve, as we hope to contribute to making a happier home. In setting the context around social and economical factors of Seascape, by observing the importance of austerity that has led to less funding to schools, which then restricts them in being able to offer additional support for their students. There is about 30,000 parents serving in the Royal Navy that are away from their homes months at a time. This often leaves the rest of their families at home with a single parent, which we are all aware of can be a very difficult task. Looking at this on a more local scale, 700 families affected in Portsmouth this April as the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier departs, as shown here. Analysing the correspondence of low literacy rates in students and children having a parent serving in the Navy, it was also found from studies carried out at the University of Winchester that being a child of someone serving in the Navy has a heavy influence factor on these children not wanting to further their education and go on to university. Another appealing factor to the children is that they may want to go into the Navy or form of armed forces like their parent, which doesn't necessarily have any academic requirements, and these gaps will only increase as funding for schools are restricted more and more. Seascape is aiming to fill this gap by providing the service that we believe is what is missing in the local environment. We are aware that the function of what we provide is available through other sites, such as a local library or a bookstore or Amazon. However, Seascape will deliver on offering the prime convenience and the package. Seascape will facilitate the encouragement that may be needed in the social areas. The issue of targeting this idea to the naval personnel is the restrictions to data and internet they have while they're away serving. This could create some difficulties with downloading the ebooks and having the time to actually communicate with their child and discuss the book that they're reading and read the books together. This would be an area that requires further research as to how they are monitored while at sea and what their accessibility is. Using Martin and Osberg's components of social entrepreneurship to 1. Define a stable and unjust equilibrium, as I quote from them, to identify a stable but inherently unjust equilibrium that causes the exclusion, marginalisation or suffering of a segment of humanity that lacks the financial means or political clout to achieve any transformative benefit of its own. 2. To identify an opportunity and bring courage to it. 3. Forge a new, just equilibrium to alleviate suffering and injustice. Factors that contribute to this is that it is only one of the parent that is at home and they may struggle to balance everything as well as deal with any additional pressures of doing jobs for 2 people as one, which can mean that less time gets allocated to doing educational tasks with their child, like homework or reading for fun or at bedtime. The child may become distressed as they will miss their other parent that is away. Further to this, moving houses and areas due to the redeployment of the naval personnel may cause disruption to the development of the child's academic and social skills if they don't have a chance to settle. Another factor that corresponds with the children having lower literacy rates is that their standard of living at home. Often children will withdraw themselves from in school and lower their aspirations when feeling let down by the educational system. Using a problem tree, it is feared that this could cause unemployment of the children when they grow up due to their mental health issues, which they try to deal with using alcohol or substance abuse. Seascape are trying to stop this from happening. We have the following impact statement. To improve literacy levels in children of the Navy by focusing on a consistent education by providing a structured online reading platform, aiming to decrease mental health issues as well as drug and substance abuse in these young children that are affected.